Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Liang sword forger, Li Chungang seeks sword Xuanyuan. At the beginning, Suyu unexpectedly traveled to the world of comprehensive martial arts and became a swordsmith in the city of Emperor Wu. At the beginning, bind the divine sword casting system, making it easy to cast various peerless divine swords. As long as you find the owner for the divine sword, you can receive rich rewards in the system. Xuanyuan, the sword of the Holy Way, slays the heavens above and demons below. Zhu Xian, the heavenly sword, with one strike, the immortal kneels. Burning silence, nurturing the power of evil spirits, can use the power of evil spirits from all over the world to slay the heavens and earth. With the emergence of a divine sword, the strongest swordsmen from all over the world came to seek the sword. Li Chungang said, "I am the god of sword. Without the sword made by Mr. Su in my hand, I would not be worthy of the name of the god of sword." Wei Zhuang said, "I beg Mr. Su to strike a sword and fight my sword saint senior brother Gainye. Shimen Chueshue. I hold Mr. Su's divine sword and defeat Yi Guqing with 3 moves." From then on, a rumor spread in the martial arts world. Without Su Yu's divine sword, no swordsman in the world could be called a master. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Entering the Land Immortal, Forging the Divine Sword Xuan Yuan Sword. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liang, Woody City in a firelight transparent sword pavilion. Suyu slowly woke up from the bed, with a pair of hazy eyes that only regained clarity after a moment of stagnation. I have traveled through time. Not long ago, he was still a newly graduated student. Unexpectedly, due to an accident, he traveled to this world of martial arts. After fusing the memories in his mind, Suyu gained a clear understanding of the era he was in. This is a comprehensive martial arts world that integrates martial arts from various eras. Not only the Qin dynasty, Ming dynasty, Tang dynasty, but also other powerful countries. Moreover, in the martial arts world, there are also terrifying forces such as Liang, Yihua Palace, Wudong Mountain, Xiaoyao Sect, Chuanjian Sect, and Hulong Mountain Villa. It can be said that this is an era of flourishing martial arts. A land immortal can travel thousands of miles overnight, overwhelming tens of thousands of troops to move. Therefore, in this era, various courts highly valued and feared martial artists. Speaking of land immortals, there is an invincible Wang Xianzhi in the Woody City where Suyu is currently located. The opponent's strength is extremely terrifying, claiming to be second in this world, but not a single person has won the first place. If only I could become such a master too. Suyu sighed with longing. The next moment, an electronic system prompt sounded in his mind. Detected that the host has a stronger idea and is currently binding the divine sword casting system. The divine sword casting system has been bound. For each divine sword created by the host and found a suitable owner, they can receive system rewards. System. Suyu's eyes lit up and he immediately became excited. As a traveler, he certainly knows that these are the essential golden fingers for travelers. Detected a beginner gift package. Do you want to open it? Open. Upon hearing this, Suyu did not hesitate at all. The beginner's gift pack has been opened and you have obtained the following items: Land Immortal Cultivation Level 1, Divine Level Casting Talent, Materials required for Xuanyuan Sword, Top Level Destiny Spirit Fire as the system automatically fuses. The aura on Suyu's body began to soar continuously, from postnatal, innate, all the way to the Land Immortal realm. Feeling the surging power within his body, Suyu only felt that everything was extremely mystical. In this world, the cultivation levels of warriors are divided into acquired, innate, master, great master, shattered, land gods, and ethereal beings. At this moment, Suyu, who is a step towards becoming an immortal, will be an extremely terrifying presence in the entire martial arts world. The rewards for the system are not just that. His divine sword casting talent was fused with him, and countless details about sword casting suddenly appeared in his mind. Target. System release task, cast Xuanyuan sword and find a suitable owner for it, reward top-level martial arts divine fire ascending path, divine fire clone, Shenhua Shangdao. Seeing the task released by the system, Su Yu's eyes lit up instantly. This is the cultivation technique of the Earth Emperor Yuan Tuo. If he learns this technique, his strength will surely reach another level. However, as the sword of the Holy Way, Xuanyuan sword is not so easy to forge. Su Yu went to the sword casting room in the sword pavilion and took out the materials needed to cast the Xuanyuan sword. Subsequently, he activated the heavenly spirit fire within his body and began to forge the Xuanyuan sword. Wisps of heavenly spiritual fire gushed out from the fingertips, casting the material of Xuanyuan sword into a prototype. The raging flames rose in the room, causing the temperature of the entire sword casting room to continuously rise. If ordinary people come here, they will definitely be frightened by the temperature here. Fortunately, Su Yu has the cultivation level of a land immortal, which allows him to remain unaffected. Drops of sweat fell from his forehead, and Su Yu's eyes began to become firm. The embryonic form of Xuanyuan sword has already come out. Next, it is necessary to go through a rigorous and refined process to refine its sword body. This process requires persistent effort to make the entire sword body perfect. Otherwise, any mistakes made midway will result in flaws in this peerless sword. So next, Su Yu's spirit must remain highly focused. Hammer it. I saw Su Yu gently grip his right hand, and a hammer weighing 100 pounds suddenly fell. Bang dang as Su Yu's hammer fell, the blade of Xuanyuan sword began to make a crisp sound. After an unknown amount of time, the blade of Xuanyuan sword was finally cast. Su Yu gently wiped the sweat off his forehead, revealing a satisfied expression. The last step is to quench the Xuanyuan sword, and a peerless divine weapon can be born. During this process, Su Yu must control the entire fire temperature well. Heavenly Destiny Spirit Fire. Now. Su Yu let out a soft growl, and waves of spiritual fire suddenly spewed out. As a divine weapon of the Holy Way, the Xuanyuan sword cannot be refined with ordinary flames. Only the divine fire of Heavenly Destiny Spirit can complete its final step. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. The peerless divine sword evokes celestial phenomena, and Wang Xianzhi seeks war. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time passes by minute by second. The temperature of the entire sword casting room, under the rising of the heavenly destiny spirit fire, is as scorching as an alchemy furnace. After 10 hours of hard work, Su Yu finally reached the final stage. I saw his eyes shining brightly. A peerless divine weapon emitting a terrifying aura began to slowly rise from the flames. Buzz with the birth of divine weapons, an unparalleled aura instantly surged into the sky. In the city of Emperor Wu, a towering golden light shot into the sky, instantly attracting everyone's attention. What happened? Why did a golden light appear in the city? What a terrifying aura! Has any strong person come to understand the Tao again? Such a celestial anomaly would probably only be caused by the powerful land god's power. No, look quickly. Is there a sword above that golden light? Crouching groove. It's really amazing how this sword can trigger such a big commotion. What kind of unparalleled divine weapon is it? In the city of Emperor Wu, everyone was shocked and they saw such a strange sight. Under the sky, they had never seen a peerless divine weapon that could trigger celestial phenomena. Buzzing just at this moment. The city head of Emperor Wu suddenly trembled, and a sword that had been defeated by Wang Xianzhi and left on this city head began to fall and fly. These swordsmen, who used to be proud of their swords, now appear dull and lifeless in front of Xuanyuan sword. They surrounded the Xuan Yuan sword and were attracted by the sword energy of this peerless divine sword. I didn't misread it. The sword that Wang Xianzhi left on the city head was actually attracted by that sword around. Such a grand occasion is truly rare to see in 1,000 years. Which peerless and powerful person's pen did these unparalleled divine weapons come from? Just when everyone in Wuxia City was shocked by the Xuanyuan sword, the invincible Wang Xianzhi stepped on the clouds. Feeling the aura emanating from the Xuanyuan sword, Wang Xianzhi could be certain that it was definitely a peerless divine weapon. Look, isn't that Wang Xianzhi? It's really him. I've been in this city of Emperor Wu for so long, and I've never seen Wang Xianzhi's face before. I didn't expect that today, with a peerless divine weapon, an invincible armor, Wang Xianzhi has also arrived. Wang Xianzhi, are you going to challenge the swordsmith? It is rumored that Wang Xianzhi claimed to be the second best in this world in order to find an opponent, but unexpectedly, after a year of hard work, no one in this world has won this first place. The existence of such a peerless divine weapon must also be a powerful land god fairyland. It seems that we can have a feast for our eyes today. What? Wang Xianzhi is going to challenge the powerful one who has created an unparalleled divine weapon. In the city of Emperor Wu, everyone was excited when they heard that Wang Xianzhi was about to take action. Being able to witness the decisive battle between the two land immortals with one's own eyes, they can be considered dead without regrets in their lifetime. In just a few seconds, this news swept through the entire city of Emperor Wu at a speed like a raging beast. After a moment, everyone in Wuxia City was startled and came out to watch the battle. On the top of the city, Wang Xianzhi, who had stepped on the clouds, originally just wanted to see the peerless divine weapon's charm. But for some unknown reason, there were rumors among the people below that he was going to challenge the swordsmith. Now, even if he doesn't want to take action, he can't do it anymore. In the sword pavilion, Su Yu, as a land deity, naturally possesses stronger sixth senses than ordinary people. He heard the rumors outside very clearly. When he heard that Wang Xianzhi was about to challenge him, there was no fear on his face, but rather a little excitement. Emperor Wu City, Wang Xianzhi, came today to seek advice from sword makers. Outside, Wang Xianzhi, dressed in a black robe, stood with his hands down, exuding a strong aura of pressure all over his body. Su Yu's gaze was firm, and he jumped to a height of 100 meters with a light jump. Swordsmith, Su Yu, accept the challenge. What a young powerhouse. Wang Xianzhi was immediately startled when he saw Su Yu's first glance. The person in front of us is only in their early 20s, yet they have already reached the realm of land immortals. This is simply unbelievable. You are the strong one who forged that unparalleled divine weapon. Wang Xianzhi's eyes flashed with a hint of strangeness, and he asked in confusion. Exactly. This sword is called Xuanyuan, it is the holy Tao divine sword I forged. It's really surprising that at a young age, he has already become a land god fairyland and has created such a peerless divine weapon. My favorite challenge in Wang Xianzhi's life is to challenge geniuses. I hope today's battle can make us have a great time. Wang Xianzhi had no high expectations for this battle, but upon seeing Su Yu's appearance, he suddenly felt a change of opinion. Since the senior craves a war, the junior naturally accompanies him to the end. Su Yu arched his hands slightly, his gaze becoming incredibly firm. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Xuanyuan Sword showcases divine power, defeating the world's second sword. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Here we go. The peak competition between the two land immortals. Everyone in the city of Emperor Wu was full of anticipation for this battle. Normally, the land immortals of various forces are either suppressing sects or attacking the elusive realm of heaven and humanity. I rarely get a glimpse of my true face. Nowadays, the two land immortals openly challenge each other, which naturally causes a sensation for people all over the world. After all, an ordinary person may never see a land deity make a move in their lifetime. I really came to the right place in the city of Emperor Wu today. This battle is really exciting, with Wang Xianzhi invincible on one side and the mysterious land deity on the other. At a young age, he has already reached such a level and can still create such a terrifying peerless divine weapon. This person's ability is absolutely extraordinary. Yeah. Today's battle is definitely worth watching. On the head of Emperor Wu's city, Xuyu held the Xuan Yuan Sword in his hand, his gaze burning like the sun. Although he hasn't mastered any top-level martial arts yet, the combat experience is not as rich as that of Wang Leiguai. But with the Xuanyuan sword in his hand, even if he cannot defeat Wang Xianzhi, he will never lose. Draw the knife. Xuyu pointed his sword at Wang Xianzhi and whispered softly. He knows that the other party is a skilled swordsman. No need. Your peerless divine weapon is so terrifying that there are probably very few weapons in the world that can defeat your sword. Today, I will use these hands to fight against you. After all, Wang Xianzhi is invincible and confident in his own strength. Upon hearing these words, Xuyu didn't say much, just raised the sword in his hand high. At the next moment, the two of them set off at the same time, like a silhouette colliding rapidly in the air. Xuyu wielded his sword and swung it, a stunning sword aura sweeping across the sky, emitting bursts of roar. One of Wang Xian's hands stopped him, causing his white hair to flutter wildly. This sword directly pushed him back by tens of zhang. Come again. Wang Xianzhi burst out laughing, and the light in his eyes became incredibly hot. Invincible, I have finally found a decent opponent today. As you wish. Xuyu's body shot fiercely, and the Xuan Yuan sword in his hand emitted bursts of golden light. The two figures collided again. This time, Wang Xianzhi was directly hit into the East China Sea. Upon seeing this scene, the people of Wuxia City couldn't help but widen their pupils. Wang Xianzhi, who claimed to be the second in the world and no one dared to call him the first, was unexpectedly kicked back twice. At this moment, everyone is exclaiming at Xuyu's strength. Only Xuyu himself knew that Wang Xianzhi, who was invincible by a century, was not renowned. He felt immense pressure in just a few encounters. Roaming within the East China Sea, Wang Xianzhi clapped his hands and his body shot out from the sea. At this moment, he is ready to give it his all. Today, I use the water of the East China Sea to defeat the sword in your hand. Wang Xianzhi let out a loud shout, and countless vigorous qi surged between his hands. These vigorous energies are sweeping through the East China Sea, forming terrifying sea pillars. Seeing this scene, Wang Xianzhi's martial slaves and disciples were all excited. Come on. Fight me. With a wave of Wang Xianzhi's embroidered robe, Xuyu was directly drawn into the sea pillar. At this moment, dozens of sea pillars enveloped the two, and their figures were nowhere to be seen. I can only hear the sound of swords colliding. Wang Xianzhi gathered countless swords within the sea pillar, while Xuyu relied on his Xuan Yuan sword to face the opponent head-on without falling behind. I have fought back dozens of times. Everyone finally saw that a sword aura cut the vast sea in half. Coming out. When their figures reappear in everyone's sight. The sleeves and robes of Wang Xianzhi's arms were not only completely destroyed, but also left behind two blood pillars. On the other hand, Xuyu's side showed no signs of injury except for his clothes being broken. This invincible Wang Xianzhi has been defeated. The first thought that everyone had upon seeing this scene was that Wang Xian had been defeated. Because from the condition of the two individuals, it is obvious that Wang Xianzhi has slightly lost. At this moment, the expressions of the people all over the city are incredibly shocking. This invincible myth of Jia has been shattered today by a young man. If this spreads, it can definitely cause a sensation in the entire martial arts world. I lost your move today. Tomorrow, I will find a peerless weapon and definitely come back to you for advice. Wang Xianzhi looked at Su Yu's delicate face and said softly. The Xuanyuan sword in the opponent's hand is really terrifying. He broke his sword several times. Su is always welcome. Su Yu arched his hand and chuckled softly. This time, with the unparalleled divine weapon Xuanyuan sword, he narrowly defeated the opponent with one move. But next time, when he learns more powerful techniques, he is destined not to struggle as hard as he does today. After Wang Xianzhi finished speaking, he stepped on the white clouds and quickly flew into the city, leaving only the shocked crowd inside. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Xuan Yuan Sword only matches the strong, causing a sensation throughout the world. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I never expected. One day, I could see Wang Xianzhi, who claims to be the second best in the world, defeated. Yeah. That young man not only has strong strength, but also the peerless weapons he forged are terrifying. Even Wang Xianzhi personally admits that the Xuanyuan sword is extraordinary. If only I could ask him to forge a weapon for me. What are you thinking? The opponent has defeated Wang Xianzhi's master, how could he forge a sword for someone like you? Exactly. With such a peerless divine weapon, I would be content to witness it at a glance in my life. How dare I expect it? In the city of Emperor Wu, everyone was deeply moved by this exciting battle. After hearing the discussion from the servants, Su Yu smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth. Everyone. Today, Su is here to say a word. This Xuanyuan sword will be gifted to someone who is destined. If you want to have a connection with this sword, Su will definitely not have any mercy. Not only that, the peerless divine sword created by Su in the future can still be taken away by anyone who deserves it. What? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone in the city of Emperor Wu was immediately shocked. Everyone didn't expect that Su Yu would gift such a peerless divine weapon to someone who was destined. Mr. Su, are you taking this statement seriously? In the city, a swordsman spoke up and asked incredulously. Nature. A gentleman's words are hard to recall. Since Su said them, they are naturally true. It's just not that easy to take away the peerless divine sword. Since ancient times, swordsmen all over the world have sought a good sword, as a peerless divine sword, they are no exception. As long as you can be favored by the divine sword, you can take it away. Su Yu's words shocked the entire city of Emperor Wu. It's unheard of to let the peerless divine sword select people. Xuanyuan sword, I will put it in the sword pavilion. Until someone by fate takes it away. After Su Yu finished his last sentence, he turned around and disappeared above the city. Only a shocked crowd remained. On this day, the events that occurred in Wudi City quickly spread to the ears of various dynasties and forces. Wang Xianzhi, who was invincible for a year, was defeated in one move and was taken away by the opponent with the sword of the city head. And Su Yu put down his bold words, as long as anyone in the world is worthy of the Xuanyuan sword, they can take it on their own. Not only that, the peerless divine swords created by the other party in the future all follow the same rules. Many swordsmen, upon hearing Su Yu's remarks, were eager to embark on a journey and take the Xuanyuan sword. Liang, Wang Fu, old Huang, you heard it yourself. Wang Xianzhi has already been defeated, and all the swords in the city have been taken away. Even if you challenge him now, you still won't be able to retrieve your sword. Why don't I go to that sword pavilion and redeem that sword for you? Su Fengnian poured a glass of green ant wine and earnestly advised with a bitter expression on his face. Lao Huang and he have been traveling for 3 years, and Su Fengnian's feelings for him have long surpassed those of his family. At that time, when Su Fengnian heard that he was going to challenge the invincible and top-notch Wang Xianzhi, he almost had someone tie him up. You should know that the other party claims to be the second in the world, and no one dares to call him the first Wang Xianzhi. If Jianghu Huang were to challenge him, he would undoubtedly be risking his life. Young master, I have already figured it out. I won't challenge Wang Xianzhi for now. That's right, old Huang. Your sword, I will find a way to get it back for you. Su Fengnian heard that old Huang had given up the idea of challenging Wang Xianzhi, and a relieved smile immediately appeared on his face. Young master, then Su Yu is also a swordsmith. And he also cast such a peerless divine weapon as Xuan Yuan Sword. I want to personally go to the city of Emperor Wu and meet this legendary young man. Old Huang spoke slightly. Su Fengnian suddenly showed a hint of suspicion. Old Huang, you're not trying to deceive me and then sneak off to challenge Wang Xianzhi, are you? How could it be, young master? Old Huang has already said that he will not challenge Wang Xianzhi for the time being. Then I'll go to Emperor Wu City with you. Su Fengnian patted the table and said firmly. In these 3 years, you have accompanied me on a journey around the world. Let me accompany you to Wuxia City this time. Young master. Upon hearing these words, old Huang's face was moved and his eyes blurred with a smile. What are you doing? Old Huang. My eyes are in the sand again. No. Young master. It's just Lao Huang. It's my fortune to meet a young master in my lifetime. Sword 9 Yellow gently wipe eyes. Looking at Su Fengnian's sincere expression, he said. All right. There are so many adults now, you look like a little girl. Today, the two of us won't go home until we're drunk. Su Fengnian patted Lao Huang's shoulder and said with a smile. Okay. Old Huang will accompany the young master to have a good drink today. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Sword 9 Huang's Attack, famous in the city of Emperor Wu. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Old Huang, don't worry, this time the Crown Prince has brought enough silver and will definitely be able to retrieve your sword. Outside the city of Emperor Wu, Su Fengnian looked at Lao Huang, patted his chest, and assured him. How much money did you bring? Do you want me to help you keep some of it? Behind her, when Jiang and I, who was accompanying her, heard the silver again, her eyes suddenly lit up. As a financial fanatic, Jiang and I is most concerned about money. Just forget it. If I leave the money with you, it may mean you'll run away with the money the next day. Su Fengnian waved his hand and decisively rejected Jiang Ni's proposal. Can you young people, Xuanai, not be in front of me, an old man? Hurry up to the city, I'm still in a hurry to see the peerless sword. On the carriage, Chungang couldn't wait anymore. As a sword god of his generation, he really wants to see what kind of peerless sword it is that can defeat this invincible King Xianzhi. Who showed off their love? Why are you talking nonsense? Jiang and I blushed with embarrassment at Li Chunggang's words and quickly turned her head aside. Okay. Old man, I won't get involved in your affairs. As long as you don't mistake me for the peerless sword. A few people were chatting and laughing, and soon arrived at the city of Emperor Wu. How could there be an arena outside the sword pavilion? Upon arriving at the sword pavilion, Su Fengnian and others couldn't help but question the scene before them. New here. I don't even understand the rules here. A man saw Su Fengnian raise a question and immediately explained with a smile. Since the emergence of Xuan Yuan Sword, there has been a constant stream of people coming here every day to see the peerless sword. Nowadays, almost all the swordsmen of major dynasties want to win this peerless sword. And so many people want to seize the sword, there must be a priority, so Su Yu set up an arena outside the sword pavilion, and only those who win can enter the pavilion every day. I see. After listening to the other party's explanation, Su Fengnian and others suddenly realized. Young master, please wait for Lao Huang here for a moment. Old Huang, go win a few third-rate swordsmen and come back. Huang held a wooden box and walked towards the arena with a smile on his face. Who are you? My sword will not slay the unknown. On the arena, a man dressed in black disdainfully shouted. For the old man walking towards him not far away, he didn't even care about him. Hee. You talk too much. Sword Huang gently unfolds the wooden box. The famous swords placed inside suddenly emitted waves of sword chants. Sword 1, one sword opens the dust and walks the dragon and snake. Huang didn't say much nonsense and directly drove his sword towards the opponent. Humph. You came just right. The man in black snorted coldly, and his long sword swept through an arc in the air, directly blocking the opponent's attack. Immediately after, his sword tip deflected and stabbed straight towards Huang's neck. Old Huang. Seeing this scene, Xuanyuan, who was watching the battle below, was shocked. Don't worry. This third-rate swordsman doesn't even threaten his life. Chungang hugged his hands and gave a soft smile. Sword 2, two twins and lotus branches together. Sword Huang drew another sword and easily resolved the attack of the man in black. Sword 3, the sword energy on the sword weighs 3 pounds. Sword 9 yellow only produced 3 swords, and the black-clad swordsman on the opposite side was knocked off the arena. What a powerful sword! Who is this person? They defeated Black Yen so easily. At the arena below, the onlookers exclaimed in surprise when they saw the strength of Huang. After pondering for a long time, an older swordsman suddenly remembered the identity of Huang. It's sword 9 yellow. I didn't expect him to come to this woody city too. Initially, Huang came to challenge Wang Xianzhi in the city of Emperor Wu, but it caused a sensation. And this old man was the one who was present to watch at that time. Today, sword 9 yellow reappears in the city of Emperor Wu, and this matter is likely to spread quickly in the martial arts world. What? Sword 9 yellow. Even he has come, it seems that we have to give up this spot today. A group of people below were all disheartened when they heard the name Huang. Facing Huang, none of them present are their opponents. Are you still fighting? If I don't fight, I'll leave. Old Huang held the wooden box in his hand and said with a smile on his face. Silence for a moment, no one below answered. Since that's the case, young master, let's go in. Huang jumped off the arena and came to Xuanyuan's side, smiling and saying. Sure. Old Huang. I didn't expect your name to be so loud. Why didn't I see it when I traveled back then? Xuanyuan narrowed his eyes slightly and said with a meaningful expression on his face. Cough cough. Young master, he can't just look at the surface of everything. My martial arts skills are actually just a bit high, far behind my senior. Huang coughed and quickly brought the topic to Chungang. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. Retrieve the Huanglu sword, sword 9 yellow enter the heavenly phenomenon realm. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. This is the world-renowned sword pavilion. It looks really impressive. The swords of Wang Xianzhi, who defeated the strong in the world, have now all entered this sword pavilion. Speaking of them, it is truly lamentable. Xuanyuan and others walked into the sword pavilion and looked around with emotion. Sword god Chungang, at the age of 36, defeated all the strong enemies in the world and was praised by the world as a presence comparable to El Yuzu. The saying, heaven does not give birth to me, Chungang. Swordsmanship is as ancient as the night, and it is admirable to all swordsmen in the world. If you take the Xuanyuan sword today, I think it's reasonable. Suyu slowly walked out of the pavilion. Looking at the old man with a messy beard, he smiled and said. You are the sword defeated Wang Xianzhi, Su Yu who forged the Xuan Yuan Sword. Seeing Su Yu appear, Huang and Su Fengnian were both shocked. Although I have long heard that Su Yu, who defeated Wang Xianzhi, was a young man. But only after seeing the other person's face did they realize how shocking it was. At around 20 years old, he had already reached the land god Immortal realm and even forged the heavenly divine weapon Xuan Yuan Sword. Such achievements may have been even more remarkable than those of LV Zhu 800 years ago. The journey of Kendo is really exciting. You have already reached the land god Wonderland at such a young age, even during my peak period, you are not as good as you are now. Li Chungang smiled lightly and looked at Su Yuman in front of him with emotion. On the other side, he seemed to see the arrogant sword god of the past. Mr. Su, I came today only to seek the sword. Regardless of the cost, I hope Mr. can fulfill it. Su Fengnian said the purpose of this trip. Su Yu was not surprised to hear this. Everyone who comes to his sword pavilion is seeking a sword. You should be clear about the rules of my sword pavilion. As long as you can obtain the recognition of Xuan Yuan Sword, you can take it yourself. Mr. Su, before looking at the Xuan Yuan Sword, I hope to retrieve old Huang's Huanglu sword from you. This sword is of great significance to Lao Huang and me, so I earnestly request Mr. Su to complete it. Su Fengnian took out a jade pendant from his waist and sincerely handed it over with both hands. This jade pendant is made of high-quality white jade grease, and one piece is worth 600,000 taels. I hope Mr. Su can accept it. 600,000 taels. Behind her, Jiang Ni's eyes straightened when she heard this number. At this moment, she wished both eyes were pressed against the white jade. Young master, let old Huang handle the matter of taking the sword himself. Lao Huang, why are you being polite to me? When I traveled for 3 years, I already regarded you as my own person. Moreover, Mr. Su is a talented person. Even if this jade pendant doesn't require any return, I hope to get to know Mr. Su. As a powerhouse of the land god Immortal realm, he still defeated Wang Xianzhi, the second in the world. There is an endless stream of people who come to flatter Su Yu every day. Major dynasties and forces are all striving to win over this unparalleled genius. They not only value the opponent's strength, but also their talent in forging swords. During this trip, Su Xiao also repeatedly reminded him not to have any grudges with Su Yu. Huanglu sword. I remember, when I collected the sword of Emperor Wu's city head, there was indeed such a sword. If you want it, just take it. Su Yu lightly waved his right hand and a sharp long sword instantly cut through the sky. Thank you very much, Mr. Su. Su Fengnian looked delighted and quickly arched his hand. Old buddy, you're back. Old Huang, who had regained the Huanglu sword, showed a hint of complexity on his face. In the battle between Emperor Wu's city and Wang Xian, he wielded 6 swords and not only lost to the opponent, but also threw the Huanglu sword at the city's head. Now returning to the city of Emperor Wu, although he had retrieved the Huanglu sword, he did not defeat Wang Xianzhi. As if sensing Lao Huang's thoughts, Su Fengnian quickly spoke from the side. Lao Huang, your swordsmanship is extraordinary. There must be a chance to defeat the second-ranked Wang Leiguai in the world in the future. Stroking the abandoned Huanglu sword for a long time, Huang put it back into the wooden box. Mr. Su, I have a question and I earnestly request that Mr. Su can answer it. At first, I was also a swordsmith in the Shu kingdom, and after forging countless swords, I gained an understanding of swordsmanship. Mr. Su is also a swordsmith. How did he defeat Prince Na Xianzhi and how did he forge this unparalleled divine weapon? Huang is very curious about everything about Su Yu. Having achieved such success at a young age really impresses people all over the world. Upon hearing this, Su Yu smiled lightly and took out a cold iron, saying, You are also a swordsmith, understand the process of forging swords. Before a piece of cold iron is forged into an iron sword, it cannot kill or harm people. And after undergoing countless trials and a series of processing, it finally developed its sharp sword edge. Upon hearing these words, Huang's expression was slightly startled, as if enlightened, and he instantly understood Su Yu's meaning. A peerless swordsman who wants to be invincible in the world needs to go through countless trials and tribulations. When he was defeated by one of the Wang immortals in the north, his heart began to flee. But as a swordsman, even if you are defeated, you should keep moving forward and never give up. Because for a true swordsman, these are precisely the hammers that need to be hammered. Thinking of this, Huang's mind is clear. The heart lock that has been troubling me for many years is also relieved at this moment. Step out in one step, the sword 9 yellow enters the celestial realm. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. Chungang takes the sword Xuanyuan and returns to the land immortal. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Lao Huang, you have entered the realm of celestial phenomena. Inside the sword pavilion, Xuanyuan felt the breath on old Huang's body and exclaimed with surprise on his face. Thanks to Mr. Su's guidance. Only then can I break the heart lock and step into the celestial realm. Huang slightly arched his hand and expressed gratitude to Su Yu. When he fought against Wang Xianzhi, his mood was damaged and he was trapped for many years. It was not until these 3 years of traveling with Xuanyuan that he gradually accepted himself. Now, with Su Yu's suggestion, he suddenly felt relieved. All right. Since you have already obtained what you want, then I should also show the Xuanyuan sword, the divine sword of the world, to the old man. Chungang showed a hint of urgency and said eagerly. Xuanyuan sword is on the 2nd floor. If anyone can gain the recognition of Xuanyuan sword, then who is the owner of Xuanyuan sword? Su Yu smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth, and his expression towards Chungang became expectant. If we were to say that in this world, who can match the Xuanyuan sword? Of course, it must be this invincible sword god Chungang. At the age of 36, the opponent realized that he could open the sky with a sword and dared to draw his sword towards the heavens. Such an achievement, how many people in the world can achieve it? Upon hearing these words, everyone eagerly walked towards the 2nd floor. As soon as they arrived at the 2nd floor, everyone immediately saw the golden Xuanyuan sword not far away. With just one glance, everyone could see the extraordinary nature of this Xuanyuan sword. Old Huang, go try this Xuanyuan sword. Xuanyuan's eyes lit up. He had never seen such a divine weapon in his entire life. If it weren't for his lack of martial arts skills, he would definitely have given it a try. Upon hearing this, Huang was also a bit eager to try. He had just entered the celestial realm and happened to want to try this unparalleled divine sword that defeated Wang Xianzhi. Huang gently lowered the wooden box in his arms, then jumped up and came directly to the Xuanyuan sword. He grabbed the hilt with one hand and tried to pull out the Xuanyuan sword. But with the force in his hand, the Xuanyuan sword remained motionless. At this moment, Huang's expression was shocked. He couldn't believe his strength in the heavenly elephant realm and couldn't pull out a Xuanyuan sword. After a moment, Huang retreated and shook his head helplessly, saying, "The sword created by Mr. Su is truly a peerless divine weapon. Even if I exert all the power of the heavenly phenomenon realm, I cannot make this Xuanyuan sword recognize its master. Old Huang, is this sword really so evil?" After hearing these words, Xuanyuan's expression couldn't help but be surprised. It's unbelievable that a strong person in the celestial realm can't pull a sword. Young master, this sword is undoubtedly a divine sword. Compared to ordinary soldiers in this world, it's completely different from clouds and mud. Strong people crave good swords, and this Xuanyuan sword is no exception. If it weren't for a master of swordsmanship, it would probably be impossible to shake this Xuan Yuan sword half a minute. Huang explained to Su Fengnian, which immediately shocked him. Throughout the world, he had never heard of the selection of weapons and personnel. What a great sword! I, Li Chungang, have been wandering the rivers and lakes for so long, and I have never seen such a good sword before. At that time, he roamed the martial arts world and took away a sword tomb, a wooden horse, and a cow, which spread rumors in the martial arts world. I am the only swordsman in the world, Li Chungang, and the only famous sword in the world is my wooden horse and ox handle. Unfortunately, during the war with one of the Wang Immortals, he failed to use his sword to open the sky due to regret, and his wooden horse and ox were broken by the opponent's fingers. Now that he first saw the Xuan Yuan sword, Li Chungang dared to assert that this sword was more than 100 times stronger than that wooden horse and ox. Senior Li, as a generation sword god, do you have any hope of gaining recognition from this Xuan Yuan sword? Su Fengnian turned around and looked curiously at Li Chungang. Even the 9 yellow swords were unable to shake half of the Xuan Yuan sword. It is likely that only one generation of sword god, Li Chungang, can wield this Xuan Yuan sword in the world. Old man, I have never been defeated in kendo in my life. I have taken the Xuan Yuan sword today. Li Chunggang's eyes showed determination, just like when he first entered the martial arts world and challenged a skilled swordsman, without any fear. I have been wandering the rivers and lakes for so long, old man. Although he has defeated Wang Xianzhi in Qishuangjian, he has never been defeated on the path of swordsmanship. Li Chunggang's words fell, and his whole body shot like a remnant in an instant. At the next moment, he grabbed the Xuan Yuan sword with one hand and slashed it into the air, unleashing a fierce sword energy in an instant. With a loud bang, the sword energy, like golden light, swept across the sky and directly split the clouds in half. The peerless divine sword. If I had this Xuan Yuan sword back then, Qishuangjian would have dared to soar in front of me. Li Chungang held on to the Xuan Yuan sword, and his breath began to rise continuously. At this moment, this dictatorial sword god, who has been standing for eternity, returned to the land immortal as soon as he grasped the Xuan Yuan sword. The terrifying sword aura swept across the entire city of Emperor Wu. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Sword God returns to the Jianghu, Wu family sword crown comes to seize the sword. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Who is that tattered old man wearing sheepskin fur? He actually got the Xuan Yuan sword. I am not convinced. I have been practicing swordsmanship for many years, how can such a famous sword fall into the hands of an old man? Exactly. He must not take this sword away. Just when Li Chungang returns to the land immortal. The people outside seeking swords have already gone crazy. Xuan Yuan sword is a peerless divine sword, and everyone wants to own it. If it weren't for Su Yu's strength, everyone would have rushed into the sword pavilion and snatched the Xuan Yuan sword long ago. Now Xuan Yuan sword is taken away by an old man with a messy beard, and no one can accept this fact. Old man, hand over your sword. Several figures shot fiercely in the air, flying towards Li Chungang. Feeling the sword intent sweeping from all directions. Li Chungang smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth, revealing a hint of disdainful mockery. Decades ago, he was already an invincible swordsman. Now holding the peerless divine sword Xuan Yuan sword, his strength has reached the pinnacle. He didn't even take these unknown third-rate swordsmen seriously. Two-sleeved green snake. Li Chungang lightly waved his right hand, and two terrifying sword intent swept over him. Just listen to the sky roar. Dozens of people who wanted to grab swords were directly beheaded on the spot. Two-sleeved green snake, he is the sword god Li Chungang. When they saw Li Chunggang's famous skills again, everyone in the Wudi city was shocked. Their pupils widened one by one, they couldn't believe what they saw in front of them. The sword god Li Chungang, who used to be full of energy, has now turned out to be the old man with a messy beard. How could this be? Didn't Li Chungang retire from the martial arts world? 20 years ago, Li Chungang experienced the death of Lupei again, and after exchanging arms with Sui Shiegu, his realm fell to the Ji Xian realm. From then on, the famous sword god in the martial arts world will no longer appear. Originally, everyone thought that this peerless genius had retired, but to their surprise, the other party not only appeared in the city of Emperor Wu today, but also took away the peerless divine sword Xuan Yuan Sword. At this moment, all the swordsmen in the city of Emperor Wu are filled with awe. Faced with this former sword god, no one dares to step forward and seize the sword. I haven't been in the martial arts world for decades, and I didn't expect anyone to remember my name. Today, I, Li Chungang, returned to the land Immortal and challenged all the swordsmen in the world. Anyone who wants to seize the sword, come and fight at the head of Emperor Wu's city. Li Chungang burst out laughing, and his figure transformed into a beam of light that quickly fell onto the city. In the city, a group of people who coveted the Xuanyuan sword were all silent at this moment. Sword god Li Chungang is an unparalleled genius who can be compared to the existence of LV Zhu 500 years ago. Such strong people, how dare they draw their swords at each other? Li Chungang, I didn't expect you to leave the martial arts world again. In the city of Emperor Wu, a man with a strong breath slowly walked out. He held a long sword and followed a tall and cold-looking woman behind him. Wu family sword tomb, contemporary sword crown Wu Luding, bringing his mate Suihua to seize the sword. At that time, Li Chungang challenged the Wu family sword crown, not only defeating the opponent, but also taking away the wooden ox and horse. Today, he is going to correct the name of the Wu family sword tomb. Not only that, Xuan Yuan Sword is a peerless divine sword, and no swordsman in the world wants to use it. Well done. I am worried that no one will challenge me. Li Chungang burst out laughing, and his sword energy burst out like a sea of stars in the sky. Wu Luding frowned and looked at Suihua beside him, saying, as a generation of sword gods, Li Chunang's strength should not be underestimated. Now that he holds the Xuanyuan sword in his hand, it's even harder to defeat him. Both of us must give our all in this battle. Don't worry. I know what to do. Suihua took off her Su Wang sword and looked at Li Chungang with a look of war on her face. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Reinventing divine weapons and shocking the world. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the head of Emperor Wu's city, Wu Luding and Suihua set off together and quickly approached Li Chungang. As soon as the two of them came up, they headed towards the killing move. From the moment they decided to take action, they were destined to have no further reservations. Feeling the sharp sword shining through the air, Li Chungang did not retreat but advanced, and directly swung his Xuan Yuan sword to attack forward. A stunning sword aura swept through and directly shattered the attack of the two. He is truly a renowned swordsman in the martial arts world. At the first encounter, it was such a fierce confrontation. In the city, everyone was shocked by the first battle of Li Chunang's return to the martial arts world. Wu Luding, the sword crown of the contemporary Wu family, is also a well-known expert in the martial arts world. The maid Suihua behind the other party is also not simple. Two people teamed up to attack, ordinary people couldn't stop it at all. And Li Chungang easily resolved the opponent's killing move in the face of their sharp attack. You say, who will win this battle on earth? Nonsense, there's no need to ask. It must be the sword god Li Chungang. Although the opponent has been silent in the martial arts world for a long time and even lost one arm, the sword god is ultimately the sword god. Even the divine weapon Xuanyuan sword is recognized by him as the master. Even if the Wu family sword crown is powerful, it cannot be his opponent. That's right. You see how easily Li Chungang dealt with it. It seems like he didn't exert all his strength. On the other hand, the difference between Wu Luding and the other two is clear at a glance. I don't think so. Wu Luding is at least the contemporary sword crown of the Wu family. Even if he is strong, Li Chungang is just the sword god of the past. This era ultimately belongs to us. With intense discussions among the people in the city, the battle on the head of the 5 emperors gradually entered a white heat. After Li Chungang handed out a few more sharp swords, Wu Luding and Suehua were already exhausted. This sword god, who claims that his swordsmanship is as eternal as the night, not only returned to the peak of land immortals when he held the Xuanyuan sword, but also improved his cultivation even more than before. At this moment, although Wu Luding could barely cope, the final outcome was ultimately defeat. I haven't been out of the martial arts world for a long time. This world is really boring. If you two dare to challenge me, then I will use this sword to open the sky and send you two away. After Li Chungang rolled up another wisp of sword energy, his breath suddenly surged. At this moment, the Xuanyuan sword emitted a brilliant golden light, shaking the entire city of Emperor Wu. One sword opens the sky. You're finally willing to use this move. In the city of Emperor Wu, Wang Xianzhi, who was silently watching the battle, squinted slightly and muttered to himself. I challenged Li Chungang 7 times and lost all 6 times. Only in the last battle did he fight Li Chungang, who, due to his talent, did not use a sword to open the sky, which led to his wooden ox and horse being broken and ultimately defeated. This is also the reason why Wang Xianzhi has always claimed to be the second in the world. On the head of Emperor Wu's city, as Li Chunang's sword energy became increasingly fierce, Wu Luding and Suehua suddenly felt boundless pressure. The two of them knew very well that they could never bear this sword with force. Escape. Run away. After exchanging a glance, both of them immediately understood each other's meaning without much words. Wu Luding and Suehua turned around together and fled quickly. At this moment, the two of them no longer cared about their master demeanor and only wanted to leave this Shura field as soon as possible. Li Chungang saw the situation, but he didn't care at all. With a gentle wave of the long sword in his hand, a terrifying sword aura immediately swept across the city of Emperor Wu. Wu Luding and Suehua are both enveloped by this sword energy. They exerted all their strength to resist, but the cold sword energy seemed to be able to tear apart heaven and earth, not only tearing apart the long sword in their hands, but also penetrating their entire bodies. Roaming with a loud bang. The contemporary sword crown and maid Suehua of the Wu family were beheaded by the sword god Li Chungang in the city of Emperor Wu. This battle not only caused a sensation in the entire city of Emperor Wu, but also in the rivers and lakes of the world. A generation of sword gods returned to the martial arts world, not only obtaining the divine weapon Xuanyuan sword, but also effortlessly killing the contemporary sword crown of the Wu family on the city head. Once the news of this scripture was spread, the entire world's rivers and lakes were stirred up. Just as everyone was amazed by Li Chunang's swordsmanship, Su Yu announced another shocking event that shocked everyone. In 3 days' time, he will be forging a peerless divine weapon. This time, when major dynasties and forces heard this news, they all rushed to the city of Emperor Wu with their spare efforts. The divine weapon Xuanyuan sword has been obtained by Li Chungang. As a generation of sword gods, they do not have enough strength to compete with him. I can only focus on the newly forged divine weapon 3 days later. This time's divine sword, they absolutely cannot give in to each other. Begging for flowers. Requesting tickets. Seeking various data. If you like to watch, you can give some flower support. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. Collecting the blue bird as a sword attendant, gathering various forces. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Task completed, reward top. Level martial arts divine fire to ascend the path, the second stage has begun, casting the Chungang divine sword, reward. Top power dragon element power, inside the sword pavilion, so you looked at the newly released tasks in the system with a meaningful smile. The power of the dragon element is an extremely powerful force. If this power can be integrated, his strength can definitely take a step forward. Mr. Su, both Mr. Huang and Mr. Li have improved their strength this time because of you. You have shown kindness to Liang, and if there is any need, Liang will do its best to repay it. Su Fengnian admires Su Yu very much. As a young man in his early 20s, he is still the top playboy in northern Liang. His opponent's sword is already a strong player in the land god Immortal realm, and he can also forge unparalleled divine weapons. This kind of talent, even if it was Su Fengnian, was the first time he had seen it in his life. At this moment, for some unknown reason, he had a strong sense of learning martial arts. It's just a small matter. My sword from the sword pavilion, only the strong can match it. If you really have the heart to repay, just leave that little girl behind and let me know how to deal with her. Su Yu spoke up and pointed to the green bird behind Su Fengnian, saying. Upon hearing these words, Su Fengnian looked delighted and quickly looked at Qingniao, saying. Qingniao, Mr. Su intends to cultivate you, thank you quickly. As a land god in the fairyland, Su Yu also mastered the method of forging divine weapons. There are countless forces and dynasties in the martial arts world who want to win over him. When he came out of Liang, Su Shao instructed him to make good friends with Su Yu if there was a chance. Now the other party has named to take Qingniao, which is a great good thing for Qingniao and even the entire Liang. Upon hearing Su Fengnian's words again, Qingniao immediately realized. Thank you very much for Mr. Su's attention. Qingniao will definitely serve Mr. Su well. I will stay at the sword pavilion these days to forge a divine sword. If you are interested, you can temporarily stay in the city of Emperor Wu. Coincidentally, this woody city has been bustling lately, and we also have ideas to stay here for a few more days. After talking to Su Yu for a few more words, Su Fengnian stopped bothering him. After all, in these 3 days, the other party still needs to forge a new peerless divine sword. Just 3 days after Su Yu announced that he would forge a new divine sword, the city of Emperor Wu had already become bustling with undercurrents. Around the sword pavilion, countless dynasties and powerful experts are ready to wait. Everyone wants to get the divine sword at the moment it is born. Sister, do you think Su Yu will forge weapons for us? In a room Lianxin looked at the invitation moon and asked with a puzzled expression on her face. I'm not sure, although Su Yu is young, his strength has reached the land god Immortal realm. It may be difficult for him to forge weapons specifically for us. The only thing we can do now is wait. We will compete for a new divine sword in 3 days' time. Inviting Moon looked towards the direction of the sword pavilion and said with a deep expression. Recently, rumors about Su Yu in the martial arts world have caused a sensation. A young and unparalleled powerhouse emerged, not only defeating the invincible King Xianzhi, but also forging a peerless divine sword. Such a genius makes both Inviting Moon and Lianxin curious. They came to Wudi City not only for the new peerless divine sword, but also to witness the legendary genius. On the other side, in the southwest of the sword pavilion, a group of men dressed in black are also gazing at the sword pavilion. Xiaofeng, this time you must get the divine sword made by Su Yu. Only in this way can your swordsmanship strength go further. Xia Wangsun looked at his son and said with a serious and sincere expression. For his own son, Xia Wangsun had infinite expectations. The unparalleled swordsman of the Ming dynasty had extremely high talent in the field of swordsmanship. He can memorize any swordsmanship at a glance and quickly come up with a solution. Got it, Dad. I won't let you down. Xia Xiaofeng nodded slightly, his gaze fixed on the sword pavilion. In the martial arts world of the Ming dynasty, he never lost in a lifetime. This time seeking a sword, he believes he can definitely do it. Looking for some fresh flower data. Data space now, give the author some support. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.